give me a story of a time you were leading your team at maybe one of the dance studios and you found yourself making way too many of the decisions.
Yeah. Oh, I have a really random but crazy story of I was taking time away. I had a friend who had a dance studio in Utah, and she just was giving back. I said, I love your studio. I'd love to come learn from you. I was willing to pay her, and she's like, no, come hang out with us. So I came there with my sister, who is actually our general manager, and the two of us were there, and we were sitting down. She gave us the day to spend with her. And we're kind of phone on the side, texting back and forth with something, and she can see we're distracted. And she finally said, okay, what's going on? How can I help you? And it was like, oh, no, just the kids are tie-dyeing at the studio, and they forgot the rubber bands. And
this is an emergency.
We are literally we flew to Utah from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have this incredible woman's attention for 24 hours. And we are texting about rubber bands and who can get them. And it was almost one of the biggest light bulb moments for me of, what are you doing? Why do two people at this level need to be getting rubber bands when we already had employees, we had team members back at home that can do it? And it was funny, when we were leaving the next morning, she's like, oh, I have a gift for you. I'm like, oh, a gift? Like, you've already given me so much. And at Office Max, they have that rubber ball, big ball of rubber bands. And she gave it to me and said, so you'll never have to worry about rubber bands ever again. And it was just, and I kept it. I kept it on my office desk, still have it today. And it's that reminder of letting go, especially on the little decisions. Like, that was such a silly thing to be worrying about.
Wow. So every time someone walks in and sees your desk, they're like, what's up with the rubber band? And you get to tell the story of delegation and how you took too much on.
Yeah.
And those little things, I mean, every leader has had that rubber band moment who's listening. And they're going, I really shouldn't be dealing with this. I don't know why I am, but the team's relying on me, and I need to make sure that I serve them. And you feel the pressure to just do it all. How did you end up letting go?
Well, that was definitely a game changer moment for me. I already thought I was delegating, but then there's always that next level you don't know exists. And for me, it was, you're right, just take care of it. We're going to be busy today. We're working on the business. I trust you. And I think a lot of times you think you're delegating, but the person back at home in the office doing the things is thinking, oh, but I need her opinion. I need to know what he would do in this situation. And we finally had to say, no, I trust you. You take care of it. Whatever needs to get done, you just do it. And we'll talk about it when we get back home. And now I can go to an amazing event like Master Series. I can be gone the whole week, not interrupted, and come back. And then they fill us in with anything important we need to discuss. But really, truly having time to be on a vacation, right? Maybe be on a maternity leave, enjoying time with your new baby. Like, things like that are so important. So I think that was the biggest thing, is really passing the baton and saying, okay, you've got this.
Yeah. And worst case, this might come from this kind of savior complex of like, well, I'm the only one who can make these calls and they trust me. And best case, it may be a lack of trust with the team. And that points to some bigger systemic issues when you're going, I can't trust the team to choose the rubber bands and make this thing happen. So it's easy to get caught up in the cycle of making these decisions for your team. What's wrong with doing that as a leader?
Yeah. Oh, man. I am constantly, even at this level, 19 years in, still going, what's the next level of delegation? And I was at an event and I was speaking, but then we gave one of our team members 30 minutes to take the stage. And it was a small little workshop. It wasn't a stage where I would have jumped on stage. It was very easy for me to walk over and be right by her. And I could catch myself trying to jump into that conversation. And I realized I am showing her that I don't trust her by doing it, or that I don't think she can handle it. So even though I did it a couple of times, I backed up, and then I even acknowledged it and said, listen, that was me, not you. Because in her mind, she's probably thinking, I must not be doing a good enough job if Stacy keeps coming back over, right? So I had to say to her, no, you're doing phenomenal. This is something I have to work on as a leader, and I'm going to get better at it, but you're doing great. So I think being careful that you doing that isn't making them think, what am I doing wrong? Or even maybe being a little disrespectful, right? Not showing them the true respect they deserve.
Yeah, as a team member, you feel like, well, I guess I'm incapable
Yeah.
because they're micromanaging me and telling me I'm not doing a good enough job because they're standing over my shoulder
Right.
trying to make every decision for me so that I don't
Yeah.
mess up. And sometimes you just have to let go, and if they fail, it can be a teaching moment, and that's how you grow. But sitting there micromanaging every decision, not letting go, that's a recipe for disaster, for sure.
Absolutely.
So how did you start to break the cycle as you started to delegate the decision-making to your team members?
Well, I think when people start to delegate, they just go, okay, here you go. Try this, George, like go for it. And then you don't know how to do it because you've never done it. And then there'll inevitably be mistakes, which then makes you think, see, I was right. He doesn't know how to do it, right?
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh my goodness. We have to train. We have to put energy and effort into the person we want to pass that baton to. So if you don't feel that maybe you can trust them with the rubber bands or a bigger decision, then what can you do to put that time and energy into them, right? Really good onboarding. And then after your onboarding, consistently meeting, discussing, having those once a week, weekly meetings with direct reports to say, how can I support you? Or I'd love to have you learn this skill. Let's start working on that together. And then I always tell people, it's really 3 phases. It's not just, hey, could you do this? It's watch me do this, right? Let me show you how. Then let's do it together. If you have any questions, you can stop me. Let me know. And then it's, why don't you try it? But I'll be here if you need something. Those 3 stages, now that can take maybe months, maybe years, depending on how big the task is. But it's so worth it to give them that time and that energy. And then you go, oh my goodness, I'm here doing this right now, but back home, they're getting XYZ done. And that's exciting.